I'm not quite surprised, but I'm surprised that I got so much done last weekend, and I got the whole back of the house done from one end all the way almost to the other. And basically this week all we've got left to do is the back wall of the garage. Well, that's the top part of the house anyway, and then we have to do all the bottom half. So it's not really done. We've only got one little wall above the roof now to do across the back garage wall, and we'll probably get the above and below done in the same time. So I'm just about to prepare this section, do above and below the wall. I think we can do that this weekend without any trouble at all. Well, we got the lower level done, as you can see behind me here. The lower wall first coat, and I've just got to go up to the top, which is up there, and give it its first coat. Let's climb up the ladder and have a look. Alright, so I've taped in again, masked it off so I don't get any spillage. I've got to go up and do this, and again, here's my little solution. I've put some brackets onto or screw the brackets onto the roof and put some timber up against it, and that's where I'll lay my ladder, and that's me to get up to those high spots which are just out of reach. It's not very high, it's only about 1 metre higher than I can reach by hand. Anyway, let's get this started, get some paint on it. Well, that wasn't a bad effort. I've got all the top of the house done and 2 sides of the downstairs area, which is fantastic. I'm loving every minute of it, and I love the colour and it looks fantastic. So let me show you what we've done so far. We started on this wall here, and that was the weekend 1 and 2 actually, because it took an extra weekend to finish upstairs. Went around the front of the house, side of the house, rear of the house to the final wall. Look at that, it almost looks like the house is finished. We're far from it though. So now that we're done at this back corner, I'm going to continue around the house. So we're going to start on the lower level, front corner of the house. Let's go and have a look. So we're back here again. This is what we did in the first couple of weekends, and today I'm moving to the front. So this wall here, it's not a huge wall, but yeah, it's a huge wall. So I'm going to take the lights off, seal it, and see if we can get a coat of, or at least one coat of paint on it today. Alright, let's get this furniture out of the way, and I'm going to start taping up this edge here so I don't get paint on the deck. So let's have a closer look. This has a now base coat or first coat of paint over the sealer. We're going to extend and do this whole section here, and the plan is to get this wall done. I really want to get this side here done as well, just see how far we can go, and also want to get that bit of cladding there. One of the things I have to do, this edge here is a timber to painted edge, and when it's timber to painted you don't really notice that there's a gap between, but now that we're going to paint the thing and there's going to be very similar colours between the two, the wall and the timber, then it needs to be fully sealed. Let me show you. This gap in here, it's not very visible because the timber is up against the paint, but once it gets painted, and I'll show you an example on the other side, you can see there once it's painted you would really be able to notice it. So that's sealed so that you don't notice the difference or the hole basically. So what I'm going to do is fill it with some gap filler, and that way we'll have a nice straight edge. Do you want to know what progress looks like? Progress looks like this. What was once cream is now white. It looks really good. What's still old is the window colour, which will go, but it's going to look much nicer when we do it in our light grey. As you can see, we've filled all the holes up in all the gaps. So when that's painted you won't see any shadow line, and now it's looking really good. So over here is been sealed. I've done a little patching. So these up here are some expansion joints that were only down to the, well, just below the roof level from above, and there's some minor cracking there which was just along the brick line, and some of the rent bagging had fallen out. So I filled that, sealed that so it covers when it paints. Where the lights were removed, there was a bit that wasn't rendered or bagged, so I've patched it up as well. Patched up some of the small holes from where the original old downpipes were before we had this roof on, and masked up ready to go. So along here, once we've got the first coat of paint on, I'll seal up in the edges here, and we'll do these gaps after the first coat. The same here, we'll get a first coat on and we'll gap up all these little edges in here. Alright, day 2, coat 2. Well, coat 1, but if you count the sealer it's coat 2. Top coat looks really good. I've still got to paint this cover here. That's basically a ducting where the air conditioning pipes go up in, and it needs to be painted the same colour. Got to paint the meter box. Going to give that little telecom box a coat as well. And the colour now across the whole front of the house looks fantastic. One of the things I have to do is see the edge here. Whoop. There. Everything's looking good now. I've got 2 coats of white on all the front and the side wall, including down here. So let's show you what I've done. So I've